You know that feeling, right? You wake up, you've got the goals, you've got the ambition, but then weeks, maybe even months just fly by and you're stuck in the exact same spot. It is one of the most frustrating feelings in the world. So let's talk about it. Let's figure out what is really going on. So let's just cut right to the chase. Why are you still stuck? You're putting in the work, you're trying to learn, trying to grow, so what is holding you back? Well, the answer might actually surprise you, because it's probably not what you think.
And this, right here, is the whole key. This is not a character flaw. It's got nothing to do with being lazy or not having enough willpower. It's a strategy problem. You're just using a broken model for improvement, and it's time we fixed it.
Okay, so first things first, we need to understand the #1 reason so many of us get stuck. It's this hidden trap that feels super productive, but is actually the thing holding you back. Welcome to what I call the self-help trap.
Oh man, we've all heard this one a million times. It's the big lie that the answer is just more motivation. But let's be real for a second. If motivation alone was enough, you would have already succeeded. It's a spark, for sure, but it's not the engine that's going to get you there.
And this breaks down the problem perfectly. See, on one side, you have consuming, listening to the podcasts, watching the videos, reading all the books. It feels great, right? It feels like you're making progress. But then on the other side, you have executing, actually taking action, measuring your results, and staying focused. That is where the real change happens.
And that leads us to the heart of the problem, the consumption trap. It's when you mistake learning for doing. You're gathering all this information, which gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling of progress without any of the risk or the hard work of actually doing the thing. It's just a really, really smart-looking form of procrastination.
And honestly, that just says it all, doesn't it? It looks professional, it feels smart, but when you get right down to it, it's just putting off the uncomfortable work that really, truly matters.
So, if just consuming more information isn't the answer, what is? Well, that brings us to the real barrier that stands between you and your goals, the execution gap. Now, this might be a little tough to hear, but it is the most important truth in this whole explainer. You probably already know what you need to do. You don't need another book. You don't need another video. What you need is a system to turn that knowledge into consistent, real-world action. And that's the bottom line. Progress lives in that uncomfortable space. It's about doing the thing you know you should do, especially when you don't feel like it. The gap isn't about information. It's about application.
Okay, so we figured out the problem. Now what do we do about it? Let's get into the practical, actionable stuff. The 3-step fix to close that execution gap for good.
So here's our roadmap. It's 3 simple but really powerful strategies. First, we're going to learn how to focus by doing less, not more. Second, we're going to create a system to track real progress. And third, we are going to literally reshape our environment to make success almost impossible to avoid.
All right, first up, do less. Seriously, forget the 10 different goals you have for this year. Just scrap them. Pick one. For the next 30 days, just one skill, one habit, or one priority. The goal here is to build momentum, and you just can't do that when your energy is scattered all over the place.
This says everything. You know, true high performance isn't about juggling a million things. It's about a deep, singular, obsessive focus on what actually matters. So, pick your one thing and give it the attention it deserves. Okay, second, you have to measure it. How do you know if you're really getting better? Your feelings are going to lie to you. Some days you'll feel like a rock star, some days you won't. But you know what doesn't lie? The numbers. Track that one priority every single day. You hear this all the time for a reason. It's a timeless principle because it works. The simple act of measuring something keeps you honest. It forces you to focus on real data, not just on how you feel at the moment.
And that brings us to our third and final fix. I want you to stop trying to be more disciplined. Seriously, your willpower is like a battery. It runs out. So instead, become an architect of your own world. Engineer your environment so that the right choices are the easiest choices. And it's actually pretty simple. You want to stop scrolling on your phone at night? Charge it in another room. Boom, bad habit is now harder. You want to work out in the morning? Lay out your gym clothes the night before. Bam, good habit is stupidly easy. You engineer your environment to win.
All right, finally, let's tie this all together with what I think is the most powerful idea of all. This isn't just about changing what you do. It's about changing who you are. Because at the end of the day, action is identity. Here is a powerful, simple rule to absolutely destroy that consumption trap we talked about. From now on, if you learn something new and valuable, you have to apply it in some small way within 24 hours. No exceptions. No, I'll get to it later. This one rule forces you out of passive learning and into active doing.
Because ultimately, self-improvement isn't about collecting a bunch of new habits. It's about building an identity. So stop asking, what should I do? And start asking yourself, who am I trying to become? A writer? A healthier person? An entrepreneur?
And this is the core of it all. Every single time you take action, you cast a vote for the type of person you want to become. Just thinking about being a writer doesn't make you a writer. You know what does? Writing one sentence. Your actions are what lock in that new identity.
So let's end on this. The fear of trying something and failing, that's what keeps so many of us stuck. But the real danger, the truly scary thing, is looking back a year from now and realizing nothing has changed. You're not broken. You're just one focused decision away from finally building real momentum. So, what's your one action going to be in the next 24 hours?